Mounting out for the Star Doncaster Mile, $3 million, and I guess on an incredible day, the jewel in the crown. Simon Haraki, he won the Epsom. We know he's a terrific miler. He was actually second in the Derby a couple of years ago on this day.
He's up a kilo from winning that Epsom, Bruce. He's had the 2 runs in. He's peaking here through a third up. He's hard fit and he looks an absolute treat, the horse. Looking at him early as he walked in, it just makes it difficult from that outside barrier. You heard John O'Shea, his trainer, just say earlier, he needs to get back. He's going to need a lot of luck to win.
Very hard, Cheska, to win the big mile at Flemington and back it up here. No horse has done it this century.
Oh, maybe, Bruce, but this horse just ticks so many boxes. He's good at the track, good at the distance, good on the rain effector going. His recent form, very good. My only query is to win with a big enough weight, well, one of the higher weights. You have to be a very good horse, and is he there yet? It remains to be seen.
Comes back from weight for age, takes a weight drop here very well in this race.
Simon, if the race were at Flemington, Palantino would probably be the favourite, but Randwick's a big track.
He's won his 2 big Group 1 miles there, that is for sure. He's been to Sydney. He had a test in the Epsom there last season. He had the blinkers on at that stage. He got run off the track on the first bend on his wrong leg. Forgive him for that. He's a last start Group 1 winner. He looks absolutely a treat in the yard here, and he's got that inside barrier. He's going to get around Sydney better. He loves the juice out of the track, and on looks, geez, you'd want to be putting him in your multiples.
Happy Clapper, second behind the one and only Winks last year.
Yeah, Happy Clapper's a cracker. He's been placed at the big Group 1 miles here, hasn't he? It was great to see him get his win last start at Newcastle in the Newmarket there. That was over 1,400 metres, carrying 59 kilos, if you don't mind. He gets a good run just off the speed. Just not quite sure he's 100% happy in this heavy 8 to a soft 7, but he's a gun of a horse.
Cheska, it's somewhat... I'm not sure at the Group 1 level, but boy, he's been a consistent horse since coming from Britain.
Bruce, it's the handicap conditions that probably do bring him into play, like with all the runners essentially being a handicap, anyone can win. Good to see him win last start in the Ajax. He's a horse that likes rain effector going. He's got that big round action. Maybe one of maybe each way chance at best, I'd say, probably.
Fair enough. Ecuador, well, he's won over 2,400. He was second in an Epsom behind Winks. And he profiled pretty well in Melbourne. I just don't think so. I doubt whether he'll give Gay an 8th Doncaster. A-Rod, a couple of great runs in Europe over the mile. Second to Solo, who was the best miler in Europe at that stage in the Sussex, and he won the summer mile. I just don't think he's going well enough, and he's at big odds. And Dibiani, well, he's had 15 starts in Australia for no wins and 7 placings. He's been second in Avilius, second in Epsom. He's a very good horse at the mile, but he just doesn't win.
No, I think you've got to leave him for another day.
There's a live shots with him, so he's still in the race day stores on his way down. He's always late. He's always late getting to the post, isn't he? Look, he is a good horse, I know, but I'm being a bit cheeky. But Redkirk Warrior's his stablemate, Cheska. We just don't know. The sky's the limit.
Yeah, absolutely. And what we do know is that David Hayes has the Hayes camp have a very high opinion of this horse. They said before the Newmarket he could be the best horse in the stable, and especially when he gets to the mile. And then we saw him win the Newmarket over what you think is a distance too short for him, but he was very good that day. Admittedly, it was a race that favoured the on-pacers, but now he steps up to a mile. He could just blow them away. Dare
I say, I think he has to be the best horse in Hayes' stable to win this race, to be truthful, don't you? But he may well be that. He was so impressive. McCreary, second behind Le Romain in the big mile in Flemington.
Yeah, it was, and he was also close up in the Epsom, and he had a little bit of bad luck, I thought, that stage behind Haraki last season. Look, I just think he meets Haraki and Le Romain better at weights. When they last met in the George Ryder, he's down to 51. He loves the juice out of the track. He's 7 for 3 at the big mile. This is his go, handicap conditions and the mile. And in presentation, he's not a horse that really spins your wheels, but he's hard fit and he's ready to rip.
It's got Chris Waller. That's an advantage, I think, in this race.
Big advantage in a Doncaster.
And so's Endless Drama got Chris Waller. Look, he was second in the Irish 2,000 guineas behind a superstar in Glen Eagles. He ran third in a Lockinge. In Australia, he's been a bit... I reckon he was good first up. He didn't fire in the spring in Melbourne in the 1 run. Sense of occasion, he's fresh. He won a Villiers second in the Brisbane Cup back in 2015. He's been a pretty remarkable horse, but I don't think so. Cheska, this one's named after you. She's a good filly. I'm a star.
Yes, thank you, Bruce. You're very kind, but I wish I was remotely as talented as this filly. Look, the difficulty is that 3-year-old fillies don't win this too often. The last one was Sunline when she carried 52 kilos to win this. But I really like this filly, and I think she could be a real star in the making. Her form is excellent, and she's a real warrior. She's tough, and she's only small, not much to really impress you physically, but gosh, she's a racehorse.
The unfortunate situation with her is the track hasn't improved. We would have loved to have seen it got to a genuine slow at worst for her. I had her on top, but I feel she'll struggle in this heavy ground.
Another 3-year-old with great form is Hey Doc coming out of the Australian Guineas. Tony McAvoy's kept him nice and fresh. Look, he's a bit of a wild card. He's got the wide draw, but he certainly has got talent, and he was a big winner of that Australian Guineas. Simon, this horse profiles well. Antonio Giuseppe. It's sort of a typical Waller setup, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, Bruce, and as you can see, the blinkers are on here today. He's had 3 runs in. They've all been super. You've just got to go back to his last spring when he won over the mile and a quarter. He stamped himself. He was then tested at 2,400 metres in the Metropole. Metrop. He's then been targeted for this race. Look, the handicap conditions, 52, barrier 6, loves the wet, 3 for 2, and he loves the mile. Some good judges reckon he's the best of Chris Waller's team.
Well, what Chris does is had that recipe, the 2,000 metres back to 1,600 metres. He did it with Rangi Rang Do. He did it with Sacred Falls. It's a recipe he loves, and he's seen it so many times be successful here at Randwick. He's going to be hard to beat.
A year and a half ago, Sons of John was 2.5 lengths behind Winks in the Epsom, but I doubt it. Kathy O'Hara to ride here, so 2 women jockeys, Kathy O'Hara and Caitlin Mallion, one after the other. Katie goes on to test her shadow. Third in the Ajax was pretty good, won the Magic Millions Cup. It's been a good horse, won $1.2 million, but you can see the odds there. This is intriguing, Spectroscope. It's so hard, Cheska, but William Buick, when he got off when he won the other day, told John O'Shea this horse could win anywhere. What do you think, Cheska?
Can't take anything away from his 2 performances here in Australia. He's won them both, and impressively. My only query is how good that form is. The Doncaster Prelude's a relatively recent race. We can't really take very many pointers from it. And did he beat anything special that day? I'm not sure. And he has to have quite a quick backup within the week, which for a European horse would be quite unknown. He's taking it all in his stride. He presents beautifully. He looks great in the coat, lovely and relaxed, but I think it's a big ask.
Mares have won 3 of the last 6, but a couple of them have been quite remarkable, including Winks, and I don't think Euro Angel falls into that category. The Hawks team, though, they've had a day out, so no. And New Tipperary gets a run because of the scratching of Tosin Stardom. Look, he's an up-and-comer high chaparral. He's won 6 out of 11. I actually think he's a very good horse, but I can't see him winning the Doncaster. Pete, I mean, it's a lottery. It's a good lottery. What do you think?
It's a very deep race, unbelievably deep, as we've seen here all day.